Live from our studio here in Kokomemle, broadcasting to all 16 regions of Ghana on the Joy News channel, around the world on myjoyonline.com, on Facebook, on X Spaces, and on YouTube. This is Joy News Today. My name is Sweetie Abochi. Our headlines this hour. Opposition NPP rules out participation in Friday's election rerun in Ablekuma North, urging the Electoral Commission to finalize the collation of results and declare their candidate, Ekuyefiye, the winner of the 2024 parliamentary elections.
So far as they are aware and so far as they know, it is only left with 3 polling stations at Ablekuma North. And therefore,
and government to pay $4 billion to road contractors to resume work on stalled projects around the country. We'll hear from the road minister as well.
We are intending to pay some 4 billion Ghana cedi towards retiring part of the 21 billion from this month.
And in our campaign against illegal mining, Joy News checks reveal massive destruction of Jimra Forest Reserve by illegal miners.
On Friday dawn, a combined team.
Well, we have details of all these, plus business, sports, and showbiz in this package. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Stay with me. Details now. Many thanks for your company. Our leading story, the opposition New Patriotic Party says it will not partake in Friday's election rerun in Ablekuma North, insisting its parliamentary candidate Nana Ekuyefiye won the 2024 constituency elections. This comes as the party continues to mount strong objections to the Electoral Commission's scheduled rerun of elections in 19 polling stations this Friday to complete the collation process. Addressing a press conference at the office of the candidate, Nana Ekuyefiye in Odoko, General Secretary of the party, Frimpong Koduah, insisted that a rerun is not only shameful, but also needless.
Per the court order, the High Court order of 4th January, whereby the EC was ordered to go and complete collation and declare the winner in some selected constituencies had not been adhered to by the Electoral Commission. Back and forth, we were able to collate almost all the polling station results in Ablekuma North, leaving only 3. And therefore, even with respect to a letter that I wrote to the Electoral Commission on the 3rd of June, asking about the update of Ablekuma North, whereby the Electoral Commission confirmed to the New Patriotic Party that indeed it is left with only 3 polling stations. Again, the Electoral Commission, led by Deputy Commissioner Dr. Bosman, under oath, went to Parliament and also confirmed same that for so far as they are aware and so far as they know, it is only left with 3 polling stations at Ablekuma North. And therefore, it comes as very shocking that the Electoral Commission, based on its own conduct and also based on facts, based on their correspondence with the NPP, their pronouncement in Parliament, and even engagement with political parties when it happened on June 12th, where they maintained their position that it is left with 3 polling stations, will suddenly make a U-turn. Indeed, it is a shame for this country. The inconsistency from the Electoral Commission is a shame. But for us in the New Patriotic Party, we remain resolute, and we know that our candidate, Nana Ekuyefiye, won the elections with a margin of 414 votes.
Why is the Ablekuma North Parliamentary seat so important in the scheme of things? Lead data and research analyst here at Joy News, Kofi J, joins me in studio to explain it all with the data. And Kofi, when I see you, I see the numbers, I hear the analyses. What are the numbers saying? So
Ablekuma, and as it stands now, it looks like a paradox. We don't know where the in fact, the voters are going to go when the rerun actually comes up on Friday. But we understand that the NPP says that they will not participate in this. But it's a contest between these two, women, giants, who are actually battling it out to see who will actually lead Ablekuma North in this parliament. And we understand, if you look at what Ikwefi herself has been saying, she says that she believes that she won the 2024 election by 414 votes. And she believes that she should be the MP for Ablekuma North. But, I mean, Irab Nawabin says that she believes she's also going to fight. She doesn't think that Ikwefi actually won the election and the NDC should actually be declared the winner of the election. Now, it is interesting to actually analyze the dynamics of the Ablekuma North constituency. This is the constituency that we are talking about 281 polling stations and close to 122,000 registered voters. Now, we understand that currently the EC wants to rerun for 19 constituencies. We've been doing the math, and per the data we have, this gives you an average of, let's say, about 432 voters per every polling station. This simply means that in the upcoming election, you could have more than 80,000 registered voters who will be going to the polls to vote. I mean, pending the court order that will come in maybe very soon. But we also understand that you could have about 7% of the total registered voters going to vote to decide who will lead Ablekuma North. And that 7% is what both political parties are currently fighting over. But what has been the story of Ablekuma North since 1996? It has never, ever voted for the NDC. This is a safe seat for the NPP, and that is why, I mean, you could understand why they believe this is their, really this is their seat. Their worst performance in Ablekuma North is about 57.6%. And going into this year's election, I mean, the projections were right that, I mean, Ikwefi was going to win the election by some 60% because they believe that although she will be affected by the sense of the central government, she is going to maintain that seat. But what you see here when you look at the data is the closing of the gap when you look at it between 2016 and 2020. It was clear that the NPP's popularity in Ablekuma North was dwindling, and the gap was actually closing, but nobody thought that it was going to boil down or go down to just about, let's say, 414 votes that Ikwefi claims she actually won.
What we saw in 1996.
Absolutely. So you see, many said that the 2024 election actually reset the country back to the 1996 situation and 2000. Exactly. Now, this is why Ablekuma North again is important. What is the the demography of that area? If you look at it on this black space, you might think that just about 121,000 voters. But if you break it down, you understand why the NPP has been dominating in this area. It's simply because this is a constituency that has about 58% of its population being Akan. Just about 20% are Gadang-based. You have about 10% being Eves, and remaining tribes being about 2%. So definitely you understand why the NPP has been ruling Ablekuma North for since 1996. And this has been the safe seat for the party. It was being run by the Battels family before Ikwefi actually came on board and all of that. That tells you why the party believes that they possibly won in 2024. But the question is, if you really have that strong control over Ablekuma North, then why don't you allow for a rerun? It's because they know the circumstances. Currently, the government is enjoying goodwill. You can see what is happening at the pumps. You can see the dollar also gaining some momentum. Inflation is down. So many improvements. And there's that goodwill behind the government. So if you run any election,
those who voted for you might not vote
there's high likelihood that the incumbent government will actually win. And in fact, if you look at how the gap has closed in the 2024 election, it makes it even trickier for the NPP to go into this.
And it's even trickier, Kofi, that is divided along party lines.
Absolutely.
But let's go to James, because he's on grounds for us. And James is right here. James, we saw that the secretary of the NPP showing some slides on the screens. Exactly what does he seek to educate the public about? What new information have you gathered?
Well, Sweetie, that's how he has been able to indicate or demonstrate to the hundreds of party supporters who thronged the office of the candidate Nana Akua here at Odorko as to why she has won the election with 414 votes, according to the pink sheets available to them. When he started the press conference, that was the position he took, indicating that as far as they are concerned, from the compilation they have done so far and even the coalition process that the EC attempted to do in Accra, from all of the results they had gathered, the indication they got is that, or the data available to them indicates that Nana Akua had won the elections by 414 votes. Reason they say they are not going into the rerun. And so they mounted a screen here and opened a number of PDF documents which they say are the scanned copies of the election result from all of the 218 polling stations. They opened a couple of them, indicated the results that she got from those polling stations. In fact, they went ahead to open PDFs of other polling stations which the EC is going to conduct the rerun in. And the 2 or 3 that they opened show that the candidate in Nana Akua had won at those polling stations. Reason they are saying that the EC's decision to conduct the rerun in these 19 polling stations is not only shameful but also needless. The General Secretary also indicated that they had gone to a National Executive Council meeting as of last night, and the decision they had taken is that they will not partake in the rerun when it happens in the next 3 days on Friday, July 4th. And so the party's position is clear. They have won the elections on December 7 by 414 votes, and so they have nothing to do with the rerun that is happening in 3 days on Friday, Sweetie.
James, thank you for bringing us the perspective of what's happening there. And I want to engage the Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party now, Haruna Mohammed, and he joins us via Zoom. Haruna, it appears, although you are showing some numbers on the screens, you haven't been able to prove beyond reasonable doubt yet that you won the election by those 414 votes that you said you have.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether proof of winning of elections beyond reasonable doubt is done in the court or
well,
is
the
done
doubt
in the
here simply
opinion.
means that the opposition has different figures, you have different figures, and you have to prove that your figures are superior or are the most accurate that we have.
See, first of all, we went to court on the 4th of January. We went to court with all the evidence that we have shown. The court instructed a directive that the Electoral Commission should be provided with adequate security to collate and declare. So on record, we have provided enough evidence in court. The court, in seeing the evidence that we have adduced before the court, gave a directive to the Electoral Commission of Ghana. The Electoral Commission proceeded to do the collation and declaration. We all know the history behind why the NDC cannot, up to now, the NDC has not even provided one single thing sheet of this. If you read carefully the CI 127, the NDC has the right and was given a copy of the thing sheet. So if the NDC is minded that they had any evidence, even a little that we have shown, that you are showing a little evidence and asking for us to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Have you ever seen the NDC showing a single thing sheet as their evidence from Ablekuma North constituency.
Haruna, let me piggyback from your very first question. You said whether or not it is proven in court. So what's the intention behind this presser, to show us what you have, rather than going to the appropriate avenue for redress, like going to the courts perhaps?
First,
what's the purpose of this presser?
We went to court yesterday. We went to court. So for the question that you have just asked, we went to court. And we went to court. The documents we have put out is about 38 pages of what we have sent before the courts. So we have gone to courts. We will prove to the courts that this is what we have. And I'm telling you that on the 4th of January, the court made a judgment. And the court, in making a judgment, looked at the evidence that we brought before the court. And what we have just presented to you, we have the scanned copies of the pink sheet from that day, and we have clearly put that before the court. And the court looked at that and gave a decision that the electoral commission should go collate and declare. If the court was not convinced on the data and evidence we provided to them, the court would have said that it is in their wisdom that the electoral commission should go and rerun. And if you read carefully the CI 127, which is the law that regulates elections in Ghana, there is nowhere on such circumstances that the electoral commission is ordered by the CI to go and do a rerun. Read Regulation 41. 41 talks about a decision must be taken by a high court in matters of parliamentary election specific, in terms of such decisions in parliamentary matters.
So Haruna, you are in court seeking redress. Haruna, hold on, let me get a word in. So you are in court seeking redress, yet you are trying the case in the court of public opinion by making these documents public. And you say you are not participating.
We are not like the
Haruna, hold on. I'll land on my question in a bit, and I'm happy to listen to you after. And you will not be participating in Friday's election. So what are you going to do after today?
We are not like the Attorney General, who would not go to court and go to the media. We went to court first, and we came to the media. The media has always been a realm where we use it as a vehicle. What we put before the media today is to keep the Ghanaian people informed, and to keep our party people informed, and to let the media have evidence of the track of which we have done. So we went to court, and we came to address the media.
All right.
In these circumstances, we are telling you that we have won the election. And I want to give you an example. It is the case of two women claiming to have one child. The other woman says that it's my child. The other woman also says it's my child. Then Electoral Commission comes in to say that, okay, you are all claiming that this child is yours. Let's divide the child. The NDC says, okay, let's divide the child. The MPP says, no, the child is ours. We have won.
Well, Haruna, thank you for sharing your perspective on the matter. And of course, we look forward to the fallout of your presser and you in court seeking redress. Haruna Mohammed is the Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, and they say they're opting out of Friday's election rerun in the Ablekuma North constituency. In other stories, government says it will pay up to 4 billion Ghana cedis to road contractors working on stalled projects across the country to resume. The government suspended all payments to conduct an audit into claims at the start of the new administration in January. Roads and Highways Minister Kwame Govins-Agbodza explains that the Ofankor in Sawam Road will be prioritized, just as all stalled projects across the country.
On the bigger issue of how do we address the payment to contractors, since we have already admitted, if you listen to His Excellency the President of the Republic yesterday, he indicated that towards the end of this month, the Finance Minister would be taking steps to retire some of the debt owed contractors so that they can go back to site and complete the work. On record, we are intending to pay some 4 billion Ghana cedi towards retiring part of the 21 billion from this month. I have no doubt that will be on record to be one of the biggest payments at a particular time to make sure that we are serious about clearing the debt, and then also paying for, or making provision to start the new works we are talking about. It is not appropriate for us to basically sit unconcerned for this to happen, since we have very scarce resources. So it is very clear that the finance minister was doing the right thing by making sure that when we have certificates at road fund, those certificates are not, repeated in the books of Ghana government at another level where we'll end up paying twice for the same project. So there's no doubt that government is committed and will continue to prioritize paying for road works done.
Well, on that note, let's do a quick check-in with what's happening in Parliament today. And Kweku Asante, our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, is standing by via Zoom to tell us what he sees. Kweku, thanks for joining us. What have you seen? What have you heard? What's the mood today in Parliament?
Well, Christiana, it's a very dark day in Parliament, just as it was yesterday. A lot of people are not saying much. In fact, just behind me, not a single member of Parliament has arrived. The entirety of the premise is empty of members of Parliament. This morning, leadership of the minority, together with some leaders of Parliament, did visit the private residence of the late member of Parliament to commiserate with the wife and children who have become the subject of this very bad news of the Akwatia MP, NSC Alkumi, passing on. And so that is taking the attention and taking a lot of time this morning. We expect that any moment from now, they will come back, and then proceedings, as is expected, will start at 2 p.m. But given all that is happening and what we are hearing, perhaps proceedings will start a bit later than that, perhaps 3 or even 4. What is not clear is if members of Parliament are still in the mood to be able to do the work that they have to do. We know that yesterday, the minority, right after making clear what exactly the bad news had become, pleaded with the majority leadership to suspend sitting and adjourn to today. What we expect is that MPs will come in, perhaps do some live business, lay some papers. If there are some questions to be answered, then the House will take an adjournment, because there are still a lot of members of Parliament who are taking this issue and struggling to contain it. But the other issue is also that Parliament is expected to go on break at the end of July. There's a lot of business that they have to do, for which reason they had actually extended the sitting times of Parliament from Mondays to Saturdays. So that means despite MPs grieving, they still have to make time and do these businesses. Else, they have to extend the period for adjournment. And that is the decision that members and the leadership would have to take. But there's no one around at the moment. A lot of the members of Parliament who join the leadership to visit the residence of the member of Parliament have not returned. And when they do, we can get an indication of whether proceedings will proceed as usual, or they will take another adjournment till tomorrow.
Bismarck Kweku Asante there, thank you. Our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent bringing us details of what's happening in Parliament. So the government is stepping up efforts to ensure the successful implementation of its flagship 24-hour economy and exports program, just 6 days after its official launch. A key focus of the program is the introduction of a participatory land access module aimed at acquiring land in various communities across the country. According to Abdul Nasser Suglo Alidu, that's head of strategy and programs at the 24-hour Secretariat, the initiative is designed to tackle the critical challenge of land acquisition faced by new businesses. And he spoke to PM Express. He spoke on PM Express last night.
Because land is either expensive or the process of getting access to land is cumbersome, and that increases the cost of it. So in looking at the way we run this program, one of the things we've done is we've come up with a land access model. We call it participatory land access model, which has been used by some mining firms in other places to be able to secure land to do the stuff that they do.
Is that what includes that 10-year free?
Yes. Now, what that allows us to do is basically to acquire land through community land trusts, who then become part owners or equity holders within the specific projects that will be taking place within their communities. It allows you to ensure that the community benefits long-term, but also you have access to land that is cheap in the beginning, and that allows businesses to be able to set up without having to cough up the big amounts of money that they need to buy land. And this is actually something that we started putting together. We're working with a number of chiefs, a number of families to actually set up this community land trust to acquire this land. So that's
still on the matter, however, industry players are calling for more specifically a reduction in interest rates, lower power costs, and a clear and detailed implementation plan. Here is Mark Bedu-Abuaje, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Eric Defo, Chair of the Economic Affairs Committee of the Association of Ghana Industries.
It is a good start, but it's not enough. Having inflation down to 13.7 is a necessary condition, but not sufficient to change the structure of the economy. We want to see how inflation, the lower inflation, will reduce the cost of credit. We want to see how the lower inflation will reduce the cost of utility, electricity, and water. These are key components when it comes to manufacturing. In Ghana, the cost per kilowatt hour for a manufacturing company ranging from 12 to 15 is among the highest. If you go to China, those who are really involved in manufacturing, the cost per kilowatt hour for them is less than 5 cents. So if you really want to manufacture more, we need to bring down the cost of utility and then that of cost of credit. If you have a policy rate of 28%, of course, your interest rate will be around 30 and over.
Because for now, it's a broad policy cutting across the whole economy. And sometimes when you try to do too many things at the same time, you end up spreading yourself thin. I mean, resources are not enough. And there are potential risks and pitfalls if you do things that way. So if they draw up an implementation plan, and out of that plan, we can see clearly that certain sectors or areas have focused on, we will partner with government to deliver the best results for the country.
And in response, Abdul Nassar Sugulu-Alidu says the government is actively engaging the Bank of Ghana and the Energy Ministry to address the private sector's concerns.
We can start off with the Bank of Ghana.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally worked with the current governor during when we were preparing the manifesto and all of that. And I can tell you that after the election, engaging them, we've made presentation to the board twice. We've met the governor a number of times. They are completely aligned with ensuring that...
In fact, we need to put across that this is the first time we're having the central bank's governor being part of the planning process of a manifesto. Exactly. And he getting the chance to lead the Bank of Ghana. So definitely maybe some of the policies you're currently running, including the 24-hour economy, he may have played an integral role and possibly knows some of the processes that this has to go through.
Exactly. And so in terms of helping to bring down the interest rates, they are completely aligned. But like he also rightly said, it will take time. That's why the way and that's why the 24-hour economy is important. Because the government is pursuing a macro policy that would ensure that we are creating the right environment for business to thrive. Now, in our estimation, we need to find a way of accelerating how private sector gets in and takes advantage of this. And actually even making sure that the time that he talked about that it will take for prices to come down, we're able to fast track it.
Let's get some analysis on this. Joining us via phone is Richmond Roxon, spokesperson for the Energy Ministry. And Richmond, you've heard players, industry players, calling for a reduction in power tariffs, one of the promises that were made on the back of the 24-hour economy. And now they're asking for the reduction from the current 12 cents per kilowatt per hour to about 5 cents. Given the cost of power generation and the existing debt burden in the sector, is this realistically achievable?
To you and good afternoon to your cherished viewers, and thank you for the opportunity. The first point I want to make is that what you put out is an average. We have power purchase agreements that the fee will be around 6 cents per kilowatt hour. We also have one that is around 5. We have one around 7. We have 10. So what you're looking at is an average. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition has taken note of this problem. He recognizes that cost of power is fairly on the high side and steps must be taken to improve the cost of tariffs that we see. So there's a work plan that the ministry is working with to ensure that tariffs come down. The first will be a review of IPPs, the power purchase agreements with IPPs. Some work has been ongoing over the period to ensure that government renegotiates the power purchase agreement with IPPs, which will include the current tariffs, as well as even fuel that is used. The minister inaugurated a committee last week with a mandate to renegotiate and review power purchase agreements with IPPs. It's chaired by Ben Boache, who is a seasoned industry person when it comes to the energy sector. Once we have cheaper tariffs, once we renegotiate, definitely what it will mean is that we'll be able to pass on that to consumers. The second is that the government of Ghana, you would know that His Excellency the President reviewed the name of the Ministry of Energy to include green transitions. The focus will also be on renewable energy. Renewable energy is fairly cheaper when it comes to power as compared to the traditional thermal that we've been close to over the period. That is the government looking at diversifying the energy mix to ensure.
Yeah, but Richmond, are you saying on authority that government actually has set plans in motion to reduce the tariffs on electricity?
Yes.
Albeit
yes.
saddled, the industry sector is saddled with debt. You're saying that on authority?
Yes, I'm giving you the work plan, an overview of the work plan that government has put in place. So, like I said, even before this concern has been raised, the minister has taken note of it, and work is already ongoing. The third will be to improve efficiency within the power system. ECG's collection, billing and collection has been an issue. Private sector participation has been approved by cabinet, which will mean that once ECG collects more, you have a better revenue system. Which will have an impact on pricing. So overall, yes, the government has taken note of that, and then they are taking steps to ensure that we have cheaper cost of tariffs for industries to grow.
Thank you so much. Richmond Roxon speaks for the Energy Ministry, and he joined us to give us a perspective from government on this. So, government starts construction of new transmission line to deal with low voltages in Kumasi and Dunkwao mining enclave. Minister for Energy and Green Transition is optimistic of economic growth. This was commenced, the government has commenced the reconstruction of a 161 kilovolt Angomaso to Kumasi transmission line project to deal with low voltages in Kumasi and the Dunkwao mining enclave, as I mentioned earlier. And this follows the increase in power flow after the commissioning of the 330 kilovolt transmission line in Angomaso, resulting in the loading of an existing line beyond its thermal limits. With the upgrade, power supply to the region is expected to improve to enhance socio-economic development. Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Jinapor, has been speaking at the event, and Nanaya Ojima tells us more. Well, before we get to Nanaya Ojima, let's listen to John Jinapor himself.
Indeed, a privilege, pride, and I'm full of optimism as I welcome all of you here in conjunction with my brother, the dynamic, versatile Asante Regional Minister, to my region. This groundbreaking.
Apologies for the bad sound there, and I cannot connect you to Nanaya Ojima at this particular moment, but of course we'll bring you some details in our subsequent bulletins. But in other stories, President John Dramani Mahama has declared that the time has come for Ghanaians to own gold mines and take full control of the country's mineral wealth. According to him, his administration is determined to work with Ghanaians who have the resources to invest in the mining sector, so that they don't just work in the industry, but own it and produce gold for exports. Speaking at the inauguration of the Gold Board Task Force as the National Security Secretariat, he said true prosperity requires taking greater control of our resources and that Ghanaians must be the first to benefit from them.
If we're to create prosperity for our people, then it means that we must take greater control of our natural resources. And it's not only Ghana that is taking greater natural control of its resources. There are examples where countries guard their natural resources. Botswana is an example. You can't export one single diamond out of Botswana without committing a crime. And so Botswana, together with its foreign partners, exports all the diamonds to the international market, and the money comes back to Botswana. This was not the case with our natural resource, gold. And indeed, other resources. We are discovering many other minerals in Ghana. And we believe that Ghanaians must be the first beneficiaries of the natural resource blessing that God has given us. So gold is just one example. We're going to make sure that in other minerals, Ghanaians play a leading role in terms of our mineral exploitation. And the time has come for Ghanaians to also own gold mines and produce gold for export.
Related to that, President Mahama has revealed that since January, Ghana has earned approximately $5 billion from the export of 51.5 tons of gold, which he says has helped to stabilize the city.
By May alone, the Gold Board had exported 11 tons of gold valued at USD 1.1 billion. Actually, it's in May alone. The Gold Board exported 11 tons of gold valued at $1.1 billion US. Cumulatively from January, exports from the small-scale sector reached 51.5 tons, which is valued at approximately $5 billion US.
And the president also announced some attractive rewards for whistleblowers who expose gold smuggling networks. Take a listen.
Informants are eligible to receive 10% of the seized gold or cash value. So whistleblowers, get ready. If you blow the whistle on anybody and gold is retrieved or cash is retrieved, you get 10% of the value of both the gold and the cash. And so to the task force, let me be clear. Abuse of your authority will not be tolerated, and any officer found engaging in misconduct will face immediate sanctions. And these could include dismissal, prosecution, and forfeiture of your entitlements. And so let this serve as a warning to all those involved in gold smuggling and the illegal trade.
Let me take you back to our earlier story about the thermal limits and what the energy minister has been saying. Remember, with the upgrade, power supply to the region is expected to improve to enhance socio-economic development. So let's listen to Minister for Energy and Green Transition.
In our collective efforts and ambition towards building a modern, efficient, and resilient energy system for the Republic of Ghana. These projects, made possible through the collaboration and support of the European Union and the Agence France de Développement, stand as a testament to international collaboration that aligns perfectly with Ghana's national priorities. It will certainly contribute significantly and enhance power evacuation capacity in the Ashanti region. It will not just contribute to power evacuation, but it will also improve voltage stability and reduce what we call system losses. This certainly brings us closer to our ultimate objective and goal. That is universal access to reliable and affordable electricity. When I assumed office, the power sector was very, very much challenged. Indeed, the last month before I assumed office, which was the month of December 2024, the deficit had widened to 750 megawatts thereabout. And so it meant that...
For more on this story, please visit myjoyonline.com and read all the details for yourself. And on that note, we'll take a breather. When we return, your man, your businessman, Winston Tucky is up next.
Welcome back to Business here on Joy News. Today, my name is Winston Tucky, and now to our first business story. The ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, EBID, has dismissed claims that its agreement with engineers and planners over the acquisition of the Black Water Gold project is politically motivated. Speaking at the signing ceremony of a $130 million facility agreement involving EBID, engineers and planners, and Azuma Resources Ghana Limited, President of the bank, Dr. George Donko, emphasized the project its economic significance.
The Black Water Gold project, located in Ghana's Upper West region, is expected to generate significant economic impact through local job creation, community development initiatives, and increased export revenue. Dr. George Donko used the occasion to urge the government of Ghana and other key partners to provide stronger backing for the mining sector.
And so, engineers and planners, being one of our good customers, we decided that we should be involved in the acquisition of this Black Water project. And as he said, we started about 2 years ago. So it means that all the due diligences and all those have taken place. So please, let us be mindful of this. As Dr. Samjona said, this project has nothing to do with politics. Please take note of that. Nothing. Two years ago, Mr. Ibrahim's brother was not in power at all. And we started in 2023. By the grace of God, we are almost there. And today is the historic signing of this very, very important project.
Sir Samjona called for more effort to support Ghanaian-owned mining companies.
And I repeat, let us be clear. This is not a favor. There is no political patronage here. This is not crony capitalism. This is not about friends and family. The deal we are witnessing here today was actually initiated as far back as 2023, October, with no fanfare, no interference, and no backroom dealings. It is, in every sense of the word, a commercial transaction built on merit, backed by a strong balance sheet.
Legal counsel for the engineers and planners, Bobby Banson, also has been speaking about the deal.
In October 2023, a formal agreement was signed between engineers and planners and the shareholders of Azuma Resources for engineers and planners to acquire all the interest of the shareholders in Azuma Resources for $100 million. Per the agreement, that $100 million was supposed to have been paid by June. All of the $100 million was supposed to have been paid by June 30th, 2026. Now, engineers and planners approached EBID, which is the ECOWAS Bank for Investment in West Africa, and said, give us the $100 million for us to go and pay Azuma, the shareholders, based on the agreement that we signed with them.
The agreement marks a major step forward in advancing the project development, reinforcing the role of public-private partnerships in driving sustainable economic progress across the ECOWAS region.
We have more business update for you at 1 p.m. on the marketplace. That's all now. Up next is sports.
Let's do sports now on JM Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, the men's AFCON kicks off later this year in December without Ghana. It will be the first time since 2004 that the Black Stars will not feature in the continental tournament. The team is now hoping to make amends by qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. Now, Black Star striker Mohamed Hussein has been speaking to Joy Sports' Lawrence Beidou about their decision to try and qualify for the global showpiece.
I think it's really disappointing. I see like a big country like Ghana, and also like with the good players we have, I think we deserve to be at the AFCON, but things happen. We just have to move on and look on to the future.
The next assignment will be, will be big for the national team, big for the whole country, big for the people in the country. The World Cup qualifiers get back in September. Look, 4 more games to go, but then before that, the September, we have 2 more games. How confident are you that this team can make the World Cup again?
Yeah, I think I'm really confident that the team is gonna make it to the World Cup.
Why do you have so much confidence?
Because with the players we have, I think it should be possible for us to win all the games to get to the World Cup.
Now, the full interview will air tomorrow on the AM show at 6:30 a.m. That's it for Sports on JM Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak.
My name is Lois Shola Adeyemi, and it is time for Showbiz. Now let's get into our stories. Ghanaian actor and comedian Calibos has shared how a simple life act of kindness in 2016 unexpectedly paid off. During an appearance on Showbiz ATC on Joy FM, he told the host Kwame Dazi that after stopping to take photos with some children on Osu Oxford Street, their father later rewarded him with a check for 100,000 Ghana cedis. Let's get into the story.
I've seen how a fan approached a celeb and the snobbing bits, how the person cried. I saw it with my eyes. So it's never ever been. One fun fact, one time I was in a traffic, and it was a heavy traffic on this Osu Road.
Yeah.
And a car pulled by my side, and it was he's going to pick up his kids, and they saw me.
Yeah.
So they were all happy about it. They wanted to take a picture and all that. And then father was telling them, no, it's a traffic. You wouldn't even come down. And I watched ahead of me, and I saw that the traffic was, heavy. So I got out from my car, and I asked if I can sit at the back and take. And I sat in the back. We took pictures. The man was just shocked and looking at me, and he took my number. So he called me afterwards. It will end up to something. He called me later on and was like, he really doesn't live in Ghana, but then mostly when he comes, he likes to be with the kids and all that. And there was a time they went to the mall and they saw this actress. I wouldn't mention name.
Okay.
The kids, kids, they were happy. Daddy, I want to take a picture. And he took the kids to the actress. The actress just snubbed the kids and walked off. The man said he felt so bad. It made him had a little, bad blood for actors in Ghana and all that. But when I did that, he was surprised. And when he said when he even Googled about me, I was even bigger than whoever they were going to take the picture. So he didn't really understand it. So he invited me to his office. I went there. We had a little chat and something, and he gave me an envelope. And this envelope, brand name Weha. As a paper. So me pejako so grada, I see like $100 be an baby. So I wasn't any or anything. So I sat back in my car, I drove off. Something hit me like open the window.
Open it.
Well, moving away from that, Ghanaian music sensation Black Sherif has wrapped up his Iron Boy World Tour On a high note, delivering 3 consecutive sold-out performances in the UK, the tour's grand finale in London and Birmingham marked another milestone in his rising international career. He later took to Instagram to express gratitude to his fans and team.
All done, man. Performance, good stagecraft, we love you. Miss Initial from Blackwell is the best. Live, we outside O2, Shepherd's Bush.
Me know me a dreamer posing, double up as a no sinner. Mr. Peace are trapped in, me think I do us. Screaming action, liberating.
Well, congratulations to Black Sharif. This is how we wrap up Showbiz. My name is Lois Shola Adeyemi. Over to you, Sweetie Obochi.
Thank you, Lois, for bringing us Showbiz. I was just jamming in my head to Black Sharif's song. Which is your favorite?
All of it.
What more could I ask for?
Oh, true.
And that's how we're wrapping up the bulletin this afternoon. Joy News today. For more news, do log on to your most credible online news portal, myjoyonline.com, for more news stories. My name is Sweetie Abochi. I'll see you again shortly. Bye for now.